Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering one of the biggest anime movies of 2022, The Bad Guys.
And Rascal's #1 choice for seeing this year.
Yes.
Now this movie follows a squad of notorious thieves, aka animals,
wow.
who decide to go good after a botched heist. At first it's only to steal a priceless item, the One Piece. But
no.
they just might end up becoming good along the way.
Yes, and before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification button for some future podcasts and multiple pause videos.
Absolutely. I personally didn't know what to expect because Rascal's familiar with this, it being based on the book, what it's about, the character, she being posting information on Twitter and retweeting. So I really didn't know what to expect. I saw a trailer again. I still didn't know what to expect. So when I saw it, of course, I thought of Ocean's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, whatever. I've only seen 2 of them. But I have to say I was pleasantly surprised and I really liked the movie.
Yes. And I do remember when this was first out, a lot of people were really excited for it. And then when it came out, it just got even more popular. This is DreamWorks' biggest movie in a long time. The last few movies either didn't go anywhere or they were critically hated. Abominable was a pretty quiet film and no one talked about it.
Understandably.
Yeah. And The Boss Baby 2, people detested more than the first one.
And we loved it. And there's a podcast that came out for it in December, which is when the movie is actually based.
Right. So when they had this, they finally saw this as something like the best movie in a long time after those last 2 films. So luckily it did well with all audiences.
Good. Now unfortunately I can't agree as far as the others being failures. I love Boss Baby and Boss Baby 2. So for me, those 2 movies and this one are the real standouts. Now Abominable, unfortunately, I have to agree, it was an okay movie.
Yeah.
And that was about it. And every studio makes mistakes or misjudges on an idea that they greenlight. It happens. But yeah, if that's what the case is, then they really bounced back with this movie.
Right. Because with that, they had like a huge audience again, because most people were sticking to like some of the Netflix series that they've done, and after like Trolls, they also had that Trolls sequel as well, which sort of did half and half, and a Trolls TV show, and Dragons, How to Train Your Dragon and stuff.
And the Boss Baby series.
Right. It was all beginning to be things that were already franchised and you had seen more than enough of. So this was finally something new and different. And learning that it was based off a book, I actually found a few of the books at the library. And I have to say, when you look at the artwork, they made sure all the animals were glowed up. Because if they looked like that, they probably would have been like a little more hesitant.
We know someone's not going to agree on that, so go ahead and leave your comment.
Right, right. So for here, like you said, it seems to be an homage to Ocean's 11 and heist movies, and they had mentioned a lot that they're fans of Quentin Tarantino. So this is like if Quentin Tarantino made the type of movie for kids.
Jackie Brown.
Right.
He did, so this is like a Jackie Brown for kids.
Right. So basically this is that type of film, especially with the cinematography, the music, the style. It's taking place in modern day, but the way it's framed and told, they're acting like it's an older film, like made from the 2000s without all the high tech, but there is high tech. So it somehow manages to balance both of them together where it doesn't feel like they're going to rely so much on the technology, but it's not so far back where it feels like it's going to be dated.
And the cast was a surprise for me. The wolf,
Sam Rockwell.
Yes, Sam Rockwell. I've seen him in The Green Mile and many other movies. And I didn't even place his voice. So when we saw the credits, I was really like, wow. Okay.
Yes.
So this is really a big animated role for him.
Yes.
This is what he's going to be known by. And you recognized Aquafina.
Yeah, and they had Craig
Spider.
Right. And Craig Robinson is the shark, and lots of others. And which was, the odd thing was when they did the advertisements for these, you look on the case and some other things, they don't really tell you about the stars. And usually their biggest thing is to do the top billion advertising. I think there may be a couple ads, but they really didn't push the actors. This time they decided to just push the movie and push the characters, so you're not just relying on they look like they're relying on star power for you to watch the film, which was different marketing.
And I think that was a nice change of pace too, because again, I was surprised. and it was a delightful surprise to find out who was doing the voices.
Right.
Sometimes when, as you say, they go heavy on promoting the stars, it takes away from the project itself. It takes away from the story, because you're thinking, okay, I'm going to see this person performing this character.
Yes.
And you're not thinking of the movie itself.
Right.
But in this case, since you didn't know, and it wasn't on the back of the DVD.
Right. The only time it was different was when they did the first Lego movie, and you knew all the stars, but when you watched it, you weren't thinking of the stars. You were thinking of them doing characters and just being like the little kids.
But that's because it was Lego.
Right.
I mean, Lego, whenever you're watching Lego, you never think of the stars. You think of the actual figures themselves and the story, and then you're happy to know that these people voice them. But I don't know, Lego gets a pass because you never think
right.
of it.
That's what I think.
That, right.
Right. So for this movie, animation looks fantastic. It looks like they're trying to blend 2D and 3D together, but it looks natural. It doesn't look like they're trying to go heavy on one or the other, or they haven't figured it out. It was really smooth. It was really colorful. Everyone was very expressive, and there were like lots of little details in the movie that you really have to pay attention to, whether it be in the background, on the characters themselves, that you really don't notice unless you pay attention or you rewatch it.
Right. So this movie, I think, is going to get a lot of attention for a while. And it did so well that they didn't put it on Netflix. I got an email months ago that in September, this movie was supposed to be on Netflix last year. Well, guess what? They never put it on Netflix.
Right.
I think it did so well, they're like, no, sorry.
Yeah, they said, well, keep it on Peacock so you pay extra for it.
Or buy it.
Right. And so for the cast, I already mentioned most of the stars in here. And then for the main group of the bad guys, you have, then they refer to them as this, Mr. Wolf, Mr. Snake, Mr. Piranha, Mr. Tarantula, Miss Tarantula, I'm sorry, forgive me, and Mr. Shark. I'm about to mix them up, sorry about that.
And then you had Diane, who was a fox.
Yes.
As well.
And then you had the one that tried to reform them was Professor Marmalade.
You had Nom Nom.
That's what he was.
I'm thinking it was Nom Nom.
Yeah.
And his voice actor, I was stunned to find out that's who that was.
Yeah.
So
the whole film was also another thing different. It wasn't some type of really long, epic film. It wasn't trying to look at like Toy Story way, where it's like another life of a certain group of characters. It was just a really fun and creative homage to the heist films. And what's also different is that you really empathized with the characters, even though you knew you weren't sure if they were gonna stay good or they go back to being bad or vice versa. With it, you didn't get a feeling like you were just watching some cruel villains or anything like that, where they don't make you like the bad people and they're doing heinous acts, but you're supposed to like them, or the wicked route where they're portrayed as bad but they're really good underneath. And here they were doing bad things. The worst they did was steal. That's pretty much it. And then it was kind of them fighting to not be good.
And fighting amongst each other, because Wolf had gotten a taste of how it feels to be treated differently when you do good. Snake wanted to just stay bad, and then the other three were caught in the middle, having to choose sides.
Right. And I like how they had, each one had their role, but they played around with it so well where it didn't feel like you're just seeing the standard. Like you had your leader, the mastermind, the safecracker, who was the snake, safecracker, think about that. The muscle was the small piranha. The master disguise was the giant shark, who always dressed in women's clothing, and somehow and somehow everyone fell for the disguise and thought he was a completely different character. And then the tarantula, who was always the hacker. And the thing was, they played around with this so much where it didn't feel like you were just seeing a standard thing. It's like, this is this person doing this job, and this is how they do it. It wasn't just them doing the job. This is how this particular character does this particular job.
So it is a fantastic movie, and we won't say too much to spoil what happens, but you probably can figure out It definitely follows like a standard formula, but again, it's one of those movies that it's a story that's being told before, but it's being told in such a way that it's fresh and new and different and entertaining.
Right.
And there's not a dull moment watching this movie.
No,
there's no inappropriate lines. There's no inappropriate dirty jokes. There's nothing where anybody of any age can watch this movie.
Right.
You can even have younger children watch this movie, and it's safe for them to watch.
Yes. And we don't know if there's going to be a sequel. We assume there is because of how well it did. And there are several books in the series and many characters introduced. So this could either be a new franchise for them for movies, or they could get a spin-off on Netflix or Peacock for an animated series and maybe just do every book as an episode. So we'll just see what happens with it.
That'll be great. So if you've seen The Bad Guys, and we know you probably have, let us know what you think in the comments below. Did you have a favorite bad guy?
Yes.
Did you have a favorite scene? Do you hope there's a sequel? Let us know what you think.
Right.
If you haven't seen it, you've got to buy it or go to Peacock.
Right.
Or go to your local library and make sure to give it a watch and come back and tell us what you think.
Right. Oh, now that you brought up that question, did you have a favorite bad guy? Or did you like the whole group in general together?
I know who your favorite is. I like him too, but I think I like the whole group. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, the one I think because it was such an odd casting was the tarantula. Because the tarantula of all things, having all the arms, being the hacker and all of this, being so little, always on somebody's shoulder to move around, and then when they all went to jail, they didn't separate her from the guys. They put her in her own little cage. Yeah. And they put her in the same cell with the guys. It was hilarious. So I think because it was something I've never seen and so different. And Aquafina, of course, they gave her great lines. It would have to be the tarantula.
Okay.
And I know who yours is.
Yes, Mr. Piranha. Because he had just like some of the best dialogue in there aside from Mr. Snake.
And then if I have to pick a second one, then it would be the wolf.
Yes.
It would definitely be the
wolf. And I say Mr. Wolf's a lot of people's favorites. If you go online, you'll see what we're talking about. So if you haven't already, subscribe for updates, weekly videos on your favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Yes, and thank you so much for your support, coming, giving us a watch and a listen. We really appreciate you. If you want us to check out your channel, leave the name in the comments below, or better yet, leave us the link so we can go ahead and take a look. And if we aren't already subscribed to you, subscribe.
Yes. So thank you so much for watching Mask Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.